Good morning. We are team number 7, and we are going to talk about the importance of communicative competence in the society. Let's start by, in my opinion, that this is a very important topic because at this case, the communicative competences are tools in order to, as its name said, communicate ideas. And for example, this case, education, that is, you need to communicate an idea or context in order to your students learn, is important because the transmission of ideas, rhetorical media, can say important things about some topics, ideas, or anything else. And for example, in this case, what do you keep in mind, Enrique?
Well, I keep in mind that it is a very, very big concept because it is used when we communicate with someone because there are some things that represent this type of communication, and also it is part of the reading, part of the listening, part of our lives also. And I think that's very, very, very important. And it is a learning strategy for the child and the children, but also for bigger people. And it might be very, very interesting concept in the future because with the technology and some other things, we can increase this concept to new things. But what's your opinion related to this topic in the society, Orlando?
Okay, in my opinion, for communicative competence, it's very important. Say this mark, we express ourselves before society, and how we can express ourselves in the same society. Well, I can say this thanks for the work. I am ironically expressing its importance, but in text and in the word, which in the case is the podcast, it is important to we make our ideas understand concepts and so on. It helps us to understand and so on and other case. Well, so I'll finish this. We only need something to be able to express ourselves better and simply. To be clean about these ideas, I'm sorry, and simply the communicative competence will be always important for your lives. But well, my classmate Mahonry called you lady think or with your opinion.
I think that nowadays knowing how to communicate correctly is something essential for our day to day. It can also help us to express our ideas and feelings, be more sociable, it can even help us to get a better job. Having a good level of communication is important. For example, if my teammates and I didn't have a good level of communication, we couldn't even be doing this podcast right now. So I'm very sure that this is so important and essential for our society. Has someone another opinion?
Well, I think we should pay more attention to your way of communicating. When writing, for example, don't just come as correctly and can misinterpret the message completely and not to mention while talking to a physical person. Some even fail to make a sentence that makes sense and doesn't manage to capture the message. I think they should invest more in education for the improvement of grammar, not only in the language of birth, but in other language. Unfortunately, for a person to speak in a correct and coherent way, has to invest more money of pocket to pay a course of the language to master, and I see it as a drawback for low-income people to achieve better communication. Robin, what do you think about communicative competence in society? No.
So, how my partners say, I think that communicating competence are important and necessary in our lives. Without them, we cannot express ourselves and talk to other people, because we use them every day when we're talking to someone. We cannot forget about them, and we must make sure that we have our communicative skills highly developed, and thus not have problems in the future, either at work or at school. So, Joshua, what do you have to say about the importance of the communicative competence in a society?
Well, to conclude with this podcast, I think that the communicative competence is the capacity to connect with others in a social environment. Some advantage of being good in this topic is that we can express all the things that are on our mind. It let others have a complete idea of our message. For other side, some disadvantage of do not practice this competence is that we cannot have a great social experience because we will have a very unpleasant moments with our friends, family, girlfriend, etc. And so to conclude with this podcast, I want to propose share the importance of this competence, and we need a complete integration of the community education in all the subjects. Thank you.